Moving ahead, our next session is a panel discussion on the changing world for MSME finance. I would like to request Mr. R. Srinivasan to please be present on the dais. Sir is our moderator for the session. I would like to invite our panelists, Mr. Harish Aldangdi, Senior General Manager, Retail Credit and SME, SVC Bank, Mr. C.S. Arya, General Manager, MSME and ESCF IDBI Bank, Mr. Pulin Kumar Patnaik, Punjab National Bank, and with them, I would like to invite Mr. Ashish Taneja, Head Commercial Business, CRIF High Mark Credit Information Services, to kindly join us on the days. A big round of applause for our moderator and panelists.
So we're having a very interesting day. We started with Mr. Mathur talking about what are the great opportunities that we have. And then we jumped into labor laws, which were the topic of the day. And then we had various consuls talking about various opportunities in various countries, and then now we had threads, right? And we also unveiled our website to help. And we had New India Assurance talking about their opportunity. This is possibly I will touch a raw nerve with this topic, right? If you could start with a brief introduction of what you do, and then we can get into questions. Maybe just a 1-minute introduction.
Yeah, good evening, everyone. I'm Harish Aldangdi. I'm Senior General Manager handling the retail credit and SME. I've been with this bank for 26 years. You can say my first and only job. Been through various verticals, right from branch banking to corporate banking to post-sanction monitoring to trade finance to forex to treasury and now to retail. It's been a long journey, so I thank Bombay Chamber of Commerce and Industry to invite me, and pleasure being here. Thank you.
Ashish.
Thank you. Good evening, everyone. Ashish Taneja here. Okay, sorry. Good evening, everyone. Ashish Taneja here. I head the commercial business at CRIF Highmark. I've been in the bureau business for about 4 to 5 years now. Prior to this, I was in the banking domain for about 15 years, primarily in SME and mid-corporate. And thank you to Bombay Chamber of Commerce for inviting us here and having this lovely panel discussion.
Good evening. I'm C.S. Arya from IDBI Bank. I have more than 28 years of experience in bank. 2-3 banks I have worked. All the area like corporate banking. Initially I was in corporate banking, then retail banking. For last 3 years, I am in MSME, and I am very happy to be here. It's my pleasure to be here. Thank you.
Arya Saab is a familiar face on the BCCI panels. This is going to be a topic where we are going to discuss about MSME. We talked about enough about MSME opportunities, 30% of India's GDP, all that stuff is known. But given the current situation today, right? What we are hearing from our customers and also from the members is that there is a stress, largely related to supply chain disruption, delays. Rupee has gone the way it has gone. Are you seeing some stress in the SME portfolio in your bank?
Yeah. Recently, the stress has begun right from, you can say, the tariff, if we go before that, the Russia-Ukraine war. So mainly we have certain clients who are mainly importing or exporting to places in the Central Asian or Russia or Ukraine. They started getting affected. Then came the tariff rule, which many of the exporters mainly exporting to US markets. We have certain clients who were affected. And now, somewhat, I think, after the India-US trade agreement, we thought that it has subsided. Now came the big issue of the Middle East war, which has had a big impact. We have seen many clients who are, and this stress has been seen across many multifold kind of industries, right from you can say, hoteliers, even smaller hoteliers, they are feeling the pinch. Even people who are exporting, those who are exporting to, say, Europe and using the Middle East route or to US, now they have to go circumvent half the globe, right from Cape of Good Hope, because of which the working capital cycle has increased, the transit period has increased, which has added to their cost. The freight charges have increased, and even industries which are exposed to, you can say, crude oil, like even you can say plastic molding manufacturers who make, say, plastic components, mainly used for white goods. Many such appliances, we have seen stress. Their input costs have increased, and because of they were not able to hedge their receivables, the selling price, they are selling it at the same cost, and because of which the margins have shrunk or even eroded to a large extent. So we have seen quite a good amount of customers coming up to us, and borrowers who have who are over leveraged, who are increased their borrowings over a period of time. Those clients we have come across seeing a large amount of stress.
So the stress is not localized, but it is sort of broad-based, is what I understand from you.
Yeah.
Ashish, you are on the credit bureau side. Where are you seeing the stress? What is your research telling?
So let me just go back to some basic stats first. We've got about 4.9 crore MSMEs Udyam registered as of yesterday, as of the MSME dashboard. 99% of these are micro in nature.
Yeah.
When I say micro, these are less than 10 crore turnover, having a ticket size of say up to 2 or 3 crore as per some basic MPBF calculations. So when we talk about stress in the overall MSME segment, and I'll speak about data from April 2026, the latest reporting that we have, overall the MSME industry has not shown an increase in delinquency overall. But when we go and look at the micro segment, which is the smaller segment, we've started seeing stress there. We've seen an increase in delinquencies coming there, not only 90 plus, but also in the early delinquencies, 31 to 90 days.
Oh, 31 bucket, that also.
So that's the early delinquency.
Yeah,
So that's the early stress coming in. And this is fairly high compared to a small or a medium segment, which is your 2 crore upwards, 3 crore upwards, going up to 100 crore segment. In fact, the 50 crore upward segment has shown lower delinquencies, but the sub 2-3 crore has shown higher delinquencies.
Yeah, so they have a higher stress bearing capacity, so possibly they have a better cash flow and things like that.
Right.
But the lower ones are the ones who are feeling the pinch.
Right.
And any specific sector you see, or is it sort of broad based like Harish talked about?
So we've seen the stress coming more from manufacturing sector, and not only manufacturing, also shipping and logistics, food processing, part of manufacturing. So when I say stress, it's two portions. One is stress in terms of delinquencies, which Sir just mentioned here. But we've also seen a dip in the portfolio outstanding of these sectors.
Interesting.
So if I look at December 24 to March 25, there was about a 10% growth in portfolio for the overall MSME industry. But when I look at December 25 to April 26, we've seen only a 3% growth. So that's another point to note. So if your outstanding is going down, there's probably stress in the market. You're not able to use those funds. Also, in terms of new loans given, the same time period, new loans given had a growth of around 3.5%. Currently, we are seeing in the same time period, it's negative 3.5%.
So that's very interesting, and I'll come to the RBI work that we did a little while ago, and I'll talk about it a little bit. Arasab, what is IDBI telling us?
What we have observed that as of now, the industry is very well, managed. The stress is very less, very less.
Extremely
Yes.
positive. Thanks a lot.
MSME is well managed. As far as this stress is concerned, we have taken whatever stress is there, it is localized in few sectors like export-oriented manufacturing, textiles, or chemicals, and like Ashish said that low ticket size loans, unsecured loans, over there some stress is there. Otherwise, by and large, I don't think banks have any problem.
Not a cause for concern at this point in
Yes,
time.
as of
Oh, okay.
Going forward, we can't rule
We don't
out.
know. We don't know how long this war will continue, but possibly that's something that all of us are keeping our fingers crossed. I was talking about RBI. RBI and BCCI did a focus group study with some of the SMEs to understand. I mean, all of us know that the private capital investment is not happening, and that is cause of concern at the highest level. So today, when you are seeing working capital stress, do you think this is also going to affect term loans and therefore project investments going forward?
New investments, we have not seen, you can say, a cause of concern, because we have large manufacturers who are increasing their capex.
So, but at the SME level?
SME level, yeah, we have seen a dip, not a major dip, but you can say the Indian economy is quite robust even now. Although there are signs of stress in certain sectors, but the main cause of concern will be if this war is prolonged. Okay, it goes another 3-4 months.
Yeah, so that's
sure.
what everybody is saying. If it stresses beyond the next 2-3 months, we really don't know where this is. We've already seen the rupee playing truant.
Yeah. So importers are hit badly. We've got many importers who have not hedged and they have lost a huge amount. So that's another concern.
Yeah, so the the cost would have gone up significantly. The government is really concerned about, the ECGLS and therefore launched the ECGLS 5. It was a wonderful instrument back during COVID, worked very well, alleviated the stress, and we did not see the kind of problem that one anticipated with COVID. And COVID was also very much similar like this. We thought it's all over, and then the second wave, and then the third wave, and we never knew what is going to happen till the time we said, okay, everybody is sort of vaccinated and things like that. Do you see ECGLS playing a role in this?
So definitely, this is a preemptive measure the government has taken well in advance, because the stress that we'll see might come in June, July for companies that were actually affected during Feb and March. And banks are geared up. If you look at basic data, a week back, NCGTC published hardly 12 banks were registered with them for ECLGS. As of yesterday, we have about 60 banks that have now registered. At CRIF, we're closely working with across the banking system to provide pre-qualification for these accounts. So yes, ECLGS will definitely help in. While speaking on the ground to a few business owners, who have said that we might not go for it immediately. We might wait and watch. So that's something that the bankers here can say, that how do they see offtake of ECLGS coming out?
No, that's a very interesting point, and I'll quote some figures on that. Arisab, are you seeing any initial requirements for ECGLS?
First of all, it's a proactive initiative from the government of India. And I am really appreciate MSME that they are not, they are not jumping on this. They are on wait and watch, as he said. They are also managing their liquidity efficiently. So they are saying if required, then only they will take. Though we are getting lots of inquiries we are getting, but they are not very, eager to avail. They will, if the opportunity arises, if the, situation further worsen,
So
then only they will.
keeping the situation warm, but not still committing to that money. Yeah. Are you seeing any initial requirements for ECGLS at this point in time?
We have received few inquiries. Rather than inquiries, you can say the customers are a bit apprehensive on increasing the exposure.
Absolutely.
So they don't want to go overboard, and of course it comes with interest payout also, and that's why we are seeing inquiries from sectors who are basically affected, mainly exposed to say plastics or chemicals or pharmas. Certain clients who are inquiring, but not across board.
Okay. Recently, SBI said that they have kept about 70,000-80,000 crores, anywhere between that number, for the ECGLS exposure, and they also said they don't expect it to cross 30-40% of that. Is that the confidence in the system, or is it because people are cautious about taking loans. What's your assessment?
See, it has come as a big relief, in fact, this ECLJ scheme. Even the past ECLJs has been a boon for all MSMEs. So, fingers crossed, we expect that this should turn around the fortunes of MSME. We don't know how far this figure will go. It will depend on what is the requirement and how much of help it will make for all the MSMEs. So let's see. We are fingers crossed.
Fingers crossed. I want to delve into something else. Recently, the finance minister, earlier this week, the finance minister was in Mumbai, and she was addressing the SIDBI event, and she made a very interesting observation, or maybe suggestion. I know you're not directly under the finance ministry, but RBI is the more governing body. But she made a very interesting suggestion, and it sort of tells you at the highest levels of the government, there is a very astute understanding of the MSME stress. What she said was, you cannot treat all MSMEs alike. For example, textile has got a different cash flow cycle. An agri product has got a Kharif to a Rabi kind of a cycle. Somebody who is doing exports has got a different cycle. So you cannot treat all of them similarly in terms of the loan structure and the payment schedule and things like that. So for example, in my business, I have a 30-day cycle. I can pay a monthly. But somebody else who is in agri cannot pay for 6 months. And if he doesn't pay for 6 months, it is already an SMA, and then there is an NPA, and there are associated credit risks and all that stuff. What is your, have you started thinking about something like this?
Has already started working this, not now. For last 2 years, banks are doing on this. Banks has moved. Earlier they were, heavily dependent on the accounts. Now they are focusing more on cash flows. And apart from this, earlier they used to heavily dependent on the, collaterals. Now most of the banks are relying on data. So data-driven funding is happening. So it's a structural shift. Structural shift is there. And what Madam has said, now it's not a, luxury. Now it's a compulsion. If banks are not, reinventing themselves, they will lose business. Because most of the banks are now funding on data-driven, cash flow-based funding. If banks are not changing, then they will lose business. So they will be out of sync in the market.
No, it's a very interesting point. We have been talking to a lot of banks as part of BCCI, and this change from asset-based funding to cash flow-based funding started about 3.5 years back. And more people have sort of adopted that over a period of time, which is essentially to establish credibility and creditworthiness of the buyer, of the borrower, right? What possibly the Honorable Finance Minister said is that even in the repayment cycle, it is not to establish creditworthiness. So my cash flow is better than his, but his asset is better, so he was getting loan. But now you are also seeing my cash flow and saying, okay, this guy is as good, right? If you, one of the ways to look at it is look at my GST filing. And my GST filing is regular. That's a fairly good indication of cash flow. That is as far as establishing creditworthiness is concerned. What about the repayment cycle? My repayment cycle could be very different from his repayment cycle because our businesses are different. He's a equipment manufacturer, 90-day cycle of manufacturing, and therefore installation, commissioning takes long time. I'm a chemical seller. My cash flow comes every 30 days. So it could be very different. So not just to establish creditworthiness, but also for repayment. Is that something that is workable going forward?
See, for the past 3-4 days now, banks have started becoming more and more innovative. Okay, gone are the days where banks had conventional products like cash credits, overdraft, term loans, and other stuff. We need to have tailor-made products for which are suited for the borrowers, depending on their working capital cycle, their business needs. We need to have innovative products like short-term loans, working capital loans. You can see which are mainly, there might be some clients who are dependent on seasonal needs. Okay, there are certain activities which they need for, like exporters. Like exporters, because of this issue, their post-shipment cycles have gone for a toss. Okay, the entire receivables which they used to receive, say in 90 days, it takes normally now 180 days. So banks have to tweak their policies in such a way that it has to be the customers can be accommodated easily within the rules set by the RBI. So we have been doing that, and in fact we have been quite successful, and because of which even the delinquencies have come down.
Great. Ashish, are you seeing any examples of that across the system that you have where there are?
So I'll just add on the previous question first.
You can take the mic a little closer.
The previous question first in terms of what our finance minister said. So from my earlier days in banking, bank statement based, GST based lending had already started. I'm saying back in 2019, 2018 even. We had API pulls for GST, and then bank statement came in later. So there were already scorecards in place basis a bank statement and bureau, or a bank statement and GST and bureau. That was already there for smaller ticket size. But the need now is that while you might have those in play, how can we link it to their cycles, like you said? So an APMC trader, for instance, someone trading in apples, maybe a 40, 50 crore odd turnover, their cycles are very different. They don't need money round the year. So giving them a cash credit or overdraft around the year, they might not have that drawing power for 3 to 4 months in a year. So how can we work out on other products like demand loans or short-term loans just for that period linked to their cycle? Or someone in tourism, someone in hospitality, in the peak season, can we increase limits during that phase and phase it out when it's not required? And again, underwriting being done basis those cash flows. So cash flows is really important here, the bank statement coming in and the GST. So you have your bank statement, you have your transactions, you have GST, you have the sales. That's where you link both of them, overlay the bureau score for overall creditworthiness, and you can ascertain them in a much more simplified STP kind of manner. And I mentioned earlier, 99% is micro, right? So that's
Absolutely.
smaller ticket size.
Absolutely.
So that's where even banks from a risk perspective know that, okay, it's a 2-3 crore risk that I'm taking. If there's no collateral, can we jump into CGT MSE? It's 90% for women-owned business, 85% for micro. So that's an 85% guarantee as well that comes in.
Yeah. So any innovative products, Aryasab, that IDB has done? Because I will take on the point of risk a little. That's something which is closer to my heart. I'll talk about it. Aryasab, for you.
Yeah, I'll add to this that now, earlier banks were offering traditionally two products, working capital and term loans. Now, what you said, based on, their debt realization or receivable realization, now banks have, shifted to invoice funding and their trades, and this purchase order funding, bill discounting, and trade, vendor funding. So all that is happening because the banks are now concerned about their repayment schedules and their realization of the receivables. So bank have shifted that. We have come out with various products in this lines.
Right. So, Ashish, you mentioned a very important thing about risk, right? And this is a favorite topic, and we keep discussing this, and I'm yet to find a convincing answer for this. So maybe I'll just put it across to the panel again. Now, if I'm a large corporate, right, I get PLR plus 1, whatever it is, right? PLR plus half, whatever it is. But if I'm a micro, right, I get a PLR plus 4, plus 5, whatever that number is, right? So inherently, the banker's perception is that a micro is more risk compared to a large corporate, right? Whereas if you look at the NPAs, they're the large corporates. And if you look at the NCLT data, they're all large corporates. It's not a micro in any case, right? If you look at a micro or a small enterprise, they have only one business, right? Every day morning, he gets up from, Worli and goes to Ambernath, because that's the only place he goes to. That's the plant, right? If that is not there, his identity is gone. And I was talking about the RBI research, and there was one lady, she and her husband have put up a chemical plant, that the person is a very, very good person and she's helping everything. They got a huge order from an export market, and they went to the bank again saying that, oh, this is a huge order. And then the bank said, boss, no more. I can't give you any more loan. But he says, this is a PO. He said, no, we can't take more. And she got a little emotional in that meeting. And she had to pledge her jewels and her father-in-law's house to get the loan, right? So inherently they said, it's a risk is high here than anywhere else. But somebody else, could just say, this is my brand, take my personal guarantee and gets 2,000 crores, right? Right? Now, whenever we talk to the banker says, sir, वो RBI का regulation है, मैं कुछ नहीं कर सकता हूँ. And RBI is not in the room. So you can get away with saying that. How do you reconcile with the fact that the SME is generally lower risk compared to a large corporate? We have said that we have moved towards cash flow, we have moved out of asset. Inherently, the SME's identity is tied up with the enterprise. If the enterprise doesn't exist, he doesn't exist. His house, his education, children's education, everything comes out of that enterprise. Why would he be a willful defaulter? So why is the risk perception high for an MSME?
I don't think risk perception will be higher for SME compared to a corporate. See, I would like to place it if I have a relation with a corporate, a big time corporate, it will be only on a standalone basis. I will have very limited access to cross-selling, maybe.
Absolutely.
For a SME, which is, say, a small unit, I will have number of products which the bank can get better yields from other products. Like we can offer, get his CASA accounts, we can offer third-party products, we can leverage on his mutual fund investments. So it's not that MSMEs are a loss-making, or you can say a riskier kind of profile. We have got a good amount of SMEs who, we do a risk rating, okay, based on the RBI rules, we need to have a risk rating. And based on the risk rating, we properly price it. Of course, we have to be competitive in the market. The markets are offering better rates to even SMEs. We find many banks who are offering rates even sub 8 or sub 8.5 rates for SMEs, which are similar to what they are offering for corporates.
Oh, that very, very assuring.
So what you said was true, I believe, a few years back when you saw banks' balance sheets. There was a much larger corporate mix.
This is May of 2026.
Today, when you see every bank's results, the MD CEO makes a comment. We want to increase our RAM exposure from X to Y. Across all the public sector banks have been doing it, even private sector banks have been doing it. So the focus on MSME is growing, and banks have shifted their thought, is what I believe. And since we work closely with bankers, we are seeing that they don't perceive it as the risk that they saw. It's granular in nature, so when one loan goes bad, it's easier to collect or it's easier to absorb compared to a corporate banking customer. So I feel that thought process is changing.
Changing? Not yet. Okay, yes. Because I'll tell you why the question is. Arya sahab, finish.
This trends is changing, I'm telling you. Last year, last financial year, normal credit growth was roughly 17%. Credit growth. MSME credit growth was 25%.
Absolutely.
So trends are changing. What he said, I agree with him. What you narrated may be an isolated scenario. Otherwise, now things have changed drastically. And what Mr. Harsh was saying, that now risk analysis is done of the individual borrower, or based on that, pricing and the credit decision is taken. Now the issue is that when we are doing credit analysis of the individual borrower, sometimes what we found, these small entrepreneurs, they are buying from only one particular, customers. They are selling to only one individual customers. So their dependency, because of their dependency.
Absolutely. Point well taken.
So the margin, those guys, squeeze them. He may be having a huge order, but he's not making money. What bank as a bank wants, if you have, order is fine. You must make money.
Sure.
So
You can only if you
sometimes
make-
that thing is missing.
So you are saying the risk perception is undergoing change.
Yes, it has completely changed. Rather now we are, we are struggling to find, MSME to fund.
No, I understand. A lot of banks do approaches saying that, we need to have better quality accounts and things like that. But somewhere along the line, the risk is priced. So MSMEs don't get the right price, and many times that is a problem, that is a hindrance for them to scale and things like that. So my question is really from that context. When they need a 50 lakh loan, that's the time they don't get a 50 lakh loan, right? Many times you talk to the banker, sir, 20 करोड़ का लोन भी करेगा तो उतना ही टाइम लगता है, 50 लाख करोड़ में भी उतना ही टाइम लगता है. तो I would much rather focus on a 20 crore loan, right? Is the general discussion that we have. So if things are changing, it's a good news. How much of that has percolated down at the branch level where the first interaction with the borrower happens?
See, nowadays banks, as Ashish just said, all banks have adopted multiple products to quicken the process of lending, surrogate based, or you can say the GST based type of lending. Now, most of the banks, they are lending in a matter of hours. Okay, once you log on to the portal and you submit all the details, the banks extract the GST from your logins, and the entire limit is set in a matter of hours. So gone are the days where the banks used to take, you can say, 1 month, 2 months, and the things have changed.
And go to various levels of the branch, that's changed. Ashish, do you also get that feeling?
So yes, see, today banks have focus teams. There is a focus team that is looking at customers having a limit of up to 5 crore. So their focus is just that. So they can't run behind a 20 crore loan because my focus is I need that 1-2 crore customer. There's a separate focus team that looks at, say, a 15 to 50 crore kind of ticket size. So that focus has changed. There's more investment happening in the smaller space, micro and small. Easier, faster, straight-through processes, sanction within 24 hours, data available through APIs, bank statements, GST, account aggregator coming in that helps with proprietorship firms. Yeah. So that's really changed, the entire method of lending, which is also something that our finance minister said it needs to change. It has already changed, but now maybe it needs to change more towards sectors. How can we lend differently to different sectors?
I think that's the crux, and that is possibly the evolution of the banking loan, saying that can we look at not as an MSME sector, but sectors within sectors. So textile is different, agriculture is different, chemicals is different, equipment is different, capital goods is different, and maybe tourism is different, and so on and so forth. Any new innovative products sector-wise that...
I would like to add here, see, this is a complete wrong notion. See, the same time it takes, 200 crore proposal normally will go to board. Now most of the bank has delegated no authorities of sanctioning to branch level people. Instantly they can get. Top of this, all bank, including IDBI Bank, we have product wherein you need not to visit branches. You need not to come also. You at your office itself get loan of 50 lakh instantly on our website. Within half an hour, whether it's a 20 minutes process, within 20 minutes a loan will be sanctioned.
Is this for an existing borrower or for a new borrower?
All, NTB, NTC, MSME clients.
Suppose I'm not a IDBI customer even then?
Yes.
Okay.
MSME, I'm talking about MSME. So the entire process just takes 20 minutes. So this is a complete notion that it takes lots of time. You need not to visit, and you are we are not a customer of IDBI Bank, still you can check and take the loan.
I think this is sort of music to ears, and that is something which most of our MSME, and I think we have time for just one question. Today, the finance ministry is talking to all the PSU heads about how they can increase the funding and credit flow to SMEs and agriculture specifically, because those are two very big stress sectors. What do you think banks can do to say that, yes, this is something that we can do for the SME sector and the agriculture?
See, for my bank, SVC Bank, we have been more prevalent. We are an urban cooperative bank. So, although we are not much into direct agri credit, but we have done agro-based credit. We have lent loans to sugar mills and even rice mills and other agro-related.
Agro-based products.
Yeah, agro-based products. We have got products for even tractor financing, or you can say cold storage. So all agro-related, we have got multiple products, and all these products have done well in basically in the rural Maharashtra, Karnataka, where we have a strong presence.
Yeah.
So for SMEs, we have been doing quite well. In fact, last year we had a robust growth of around 48% in the MSME book. The retail credit has grown by 25% as a whole. So the same push will continue for the next future, now that the MSME is the future. So
MSMEs was always the future. I think it's getting recognized. Ashish, your last comment on this.
So when you talk about agri, rural, the government also asked bureaus to create a Grameen score, which is something that has gone live. It's a score specifically for microfinance or small entities or individuals within those rural pin codes. So that is something that can be used to kind of accelerate those small ticket size loans on the agri side. And then when you talk about SMEs, I'll go back to what I said earlier, relying more on cash flows and GST along with bureau scores to create more straight-through models. Today, I know banks are doing that up to almost 5 crores. But then comes the collateral requirement. So the need of the hour is how can we tie up CGT MSE with this and sort of scale up even for those entities that do not have collateral available.
Absolutely. I think CGTMSE is a great product, and ECAGLS hopefully. Harisab, your last comment before I open the floor for some couple of questions.
We are also very aggressive in agro-based industries. AIF, agri infrastructure funding also we are doing. WHR also we are doing. And one, I don't know, where people, this electronic warehouse receipt also we are doing. Apart from this, MSME is our focus. And since I take care of MSMEs, rather internally we are discussing because of this crisis whether we should moderate our growth. So then we said, no, the kind of data we are getting, we should not, moderate our growth. So we are quite ambitious and aggressive this year.
Great. So a lot of things that we heard are actually music to ears. More happy to fund MSMEs, give them an advantageous rate, price the risk more appropriately, for want of a better word. So absolutely very, very encouraging. Any questions from the audience? We have just 4 minutes to close this.
Mr. Arya, the question to you, you said most of the times the loans are available online within 30 minutes. I am an IDBI customer for last 7 years, and my experience is different. The regular renewal of CC also takes 2 or 3 months. So why this disparity between what you are saying and what I am experiencing?
Again, I am saying, sir, first of all, you talk about the renewal. I was talking about the sanctioning of the loan. Second thing, for renewal also, we have come out of various application internally, wherein, lower rate, we also see the lower, ticket size of loans are getting renewed within 1 day. Within 1 day, we are renewing. Some cases, maybe there are some BREs are there, parameters are there. If those BREs fails, then we have to do, offline renewal. That may sometimes take time, but it should not take what you are telling.
Yeah, but I understand. I pointed out not with negativity, but you need to look out what can be done. 2 consecutive years, my experience is same. We are a profitable company. We have never defaulted on anything. In spite of that, that should not happen. That's it.
Yeah, so the percolating down to the branch that I talked about is something which is very, very critical.
exactly.
Because that is where the transaction happens. One last question before we sort of close. Anybody? No. Yeah. Hemant Avade. I know I'm standing between us and the dinner.
Just a short.
More interesting stuff outside, but maybe we'll just close this.
Actually, this is in continuation with Rajan Sab's question. Now, renewal, I mean, it should not take that much of time, I'm sure. But then there was one conflict of, interest issue. Like you had that earlier discussion on, a portal where you can get your bill discounting done immediately or something. Now, many bankers, for term loan, they put a condition that you will not be having multiple bankers with you, or maybe there will be double,
You repeat. Can you please
double
repeat?
double financing. If you have current capital taken from some bank, the original bank who is given term loan, they are in trouble. They don't like it that way. So, what is that the reason? Multiple banking is not permitted by the basic banker of yours.
You can't use multiple banks. You can't shift the account. There is a problem in shifting the account from one bank to another. That's the
So the question is, suppose we go to the trade deal and get immediately money by evening. My original banker who has given me good term loan will be questioning that it's a double financing kind of thing. So in these cases, the renewal takes time. You have to go and personally explain them. Both the deals are legal deals.
So I'll try to
See,
also
basically,
add some-
basically, whosoever the term lender know, they would prefer that they have working capital also. They will love to,
Absolutely.
working capital also. So I don't think there should be any, embargo that you are dealing two different banks. Normally, bank do not do this. Maybe some isolated issue would be there. Otherwise, no, we love to do, we love to give the entire banking product to our
my experience
customers.
is there's a common
Hemant.
clause in all the banks.
Hemant, we can have this discussion
Absolutely. I would love to.
over better liquids.
Okay. Thank you.
Yeah. Any last point? No. Okay. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much. Thanks for all the candid answers and and we hope SME funding becomes a critical thing. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, everyone, for that thought-provoking panel discussion. I request everyone to please be present on the desk. I now invite Mr. Rajan Raze, Chairperson MSME Forum, Bombay Chamber, and CEO Nicam Solution to please present mementos to our speakers as a token of appreciation. Mr. Harish Aldangdi, Senior General Manager, Retail and Credit and SME, SVC Bank. Mr. C.S. Arya, Mr. Ashish Taneja, and Mr. C.S. Arya, General Manager, MSME and ESCF, IDBI Bank. I request everyone to please have a group picture. Mr. R. Srinivasan, our co-chairperson for MSME Forum. A big round of applause for our speakers.